Hey everyone, and welcome to the new series A MariChat Christmas Special, written by Stacey Holt. The artwork was created and approved by Natural Wind on Tumblr. You can find the link to their page in the description box below. This is a collaborative series. The voices in the series are not only myself, but my friends as well. Shane will be voicing Cat Noir and Adrian. I will be voicing Marinette, Miss Bustier, Felix's mother Amalie, Sabine, and the narrator. Maddie is going to be voicing Tikki and Rose. Nick will be voicing Felix, as well as a reporter. Ashton will be voicing Plagg, Kagami, Nathalie, Alya, and Luka. Keaton will be voicing Luka. Freeze will be voicing Marc and Wayz. Suprey is going to be voicing a reporter, a beach jock, and an officer. Scott is going to be voicing Kim. Brad will be voicing Tom. Mylene will be voiced by Stormy333. Lila will be voiced by TheJuicyStuff. Calvin will be voicing Nino and Hawkmoth. Nathaniel will be voiced by Dylan. Iris will be voicing Sabrina. Chloe and Adrian's mother Emelie will be voiced by Anna. Master Fu and Ivan will be voiced by Christian. You can find links to their social media and their YouTube channels and all the other links as well in the description box below. If you'd like to support this series, please like, subscribe, and comment. Chapter 8. His Thoughts. He sat down on the floor watching Marinette put up the remaining decorations on the tree that they didn't put up because they were distracted by a lovely little plant that hung above their heads. The moment that changed everything. The moment that he knew he looked at her in a completely different way. He knew he still loved Ladybug, but all of the rejections left him torn. He found something warm and someone who put him back together and made him whole. He found himself a family. Sabine and Tom were his family that he wished he had. Marinette was the girl he wished he could spend the rest of his life with, but he was afraid that under the mask she would only see him as the rich, stuck-up model boy from class who gets anything from his father. He hated his everyday civilian life and wanted to escape it. That's why he was always over at Marinette's, always spending time with her, trying to get closer to her. He heard a faint humming that snapped him out of his thoughts, that made his ears flick at the wonderful sweet sounds. His eyes darted upwards from the floor that somehow drifted downwards from his deep thoughts, and found the humming coming from Marinette. She was humming along to the Christmas music on the radio, not aware that she was doing it. It was that comforting humming once again that he loved. Though he lied to himself when they were doing the dishes, he didn't love it because his mother hummed to him. He loved her humming because he loved her doing it. He loved the little things she did that he noticed about her. The little things like fiddling with her fingers when she's nervous around his civilian self, or when she stutters around him. He wasn't sure if it was normal for her to do that, but he thought it was cute. He loved when she would scream during the horror movie binges they would have during Halloween. He loved the baking they would do together, even if she would tease him every once in a while. He loved her terrible dancing, and somewhat out-of-tune singing she would do, because that was her. How could he tell her all of these things? He couldn't. Everyone knows he was in love with Ladybug. He couldn't just fall out of love with someone and fall in love with someone else, could he? Is that how love worked? He didn't know, because he always thought that you could only love one person. He only imagined Ladybug to be his only one true love, but he never imagined finding himself falling in love with Marinette. He smiled, watching her hum as she finished putting the last decoration on the tree with the happy, cheerful smile, still unaware that she was even humming to herself. She turned around to look at him and noticed she was staring and finally noticed she was humming. Her face turned red and she flailed her arms and somehow tripped over the cords on the ground, falling on the ground. Cat smiled and laughed, getting up and going over to help her up. He bent over and gave her his hand while smiling.
"Need a hand, princess?"
he said, seeing her untangle her feet from the cords on the floor. She looked up at him and blushed, taking his hand and pulling herself up. "What were you staring for? You know if you stare for too long, people might think you're a creep," she teased.
"A creep? You're the one singing out of key."
He teased back. "Huh? Out of key? Now you're just being mean," she pouted, crossing her arms. He started laughing and kissed her cheek.
"You're right, I'm sorry. It's getting pretty late though. Staying up too late might be the reason you're falling around all the time."
He smirked, seeing her face light up more red from the peck he left on her cheek.
"Speaking of falling, you might end up falling for me if you aren't careful."
He winked, his ears flicking as he left for the night, leaving Marinette speechless. As Cat Noir stood outside her door and breathed out, His face turned red as he smiled uncontrollably. He was trying his hardest to remain calm and collected like he usually did, but it was getting harder and harder to be his flirtatious, outgoing, charismatic self around her. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'd like to shout out all of my friends who agreed to partake in all of the voice acting, and you should take a look at their social media and their links below. Other than that, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys!